One day, while taking a walk with Lin Yue, Andrew suddenly stopped and said to her, "Lin Yue, I don't know if we can be together. I am afraid that people will laugh at me, and I am afraid that this relationship will make me lose face in front of my friends." Lin Yue looked at him, her eyes full of tenderness and understanding. "Andrew, love knows no age. If you really care about me, don't mind other people's opinions. We're happy together. Isn't that enough?" Andrew was silent. He knew Lin Yue was right, but he still couldn't completely let go of his inner contradictions. One evening, Andrew got drunk. He called Lin Yue and asked her to come to his room. Lin Yue rushed to Andrew's room, just wanting to quietly enjoy the time together with him. However, in his drunken state, Andrew wanted to show Lin Yue everything about him, including his vulnerability and anxiety. He tried to express his love to Lin Yue, but she felt uneasy, fearing that the sudden intimacy would be too much for her to handle. She hurriedly left Andrew's room. When Andrew woke up and found himself alone, he felt confused and angry. He didn't understand why Lin Yue had run away, and he thought that she didn't truly love him. From then on, Andrew refused all contact with Lin Yue. He began to distance himself from her and stopped taking the initiative to contact her. A few weeks later, Lin Yue received the news that her father was seriously ill, and she had to go back to her home country to take care of him. Before leaving Northern Europe, she sent a message to Andrew, hoping that he would understand her decision. However, Andrew did not receive this message. He thought that Lin Yue had left voluntarily, which further reinforced his misunderstanding. After returning to her home country, Lin Yue focused on taking care of her father. Putting her longing for Andrew in her heart, her life gradually returned to normal. She occasionally thought of Andrew, but as time passed, she gradually let go of this relationship. She told herself that everyone has their own destiny, and she needed to learn to let go. Andrew continued his life in Northern Europe and soon found a new girlfriend, a Ukrainian girl of his own age. He hoped that this new relationship would help him start over and forget the past pain and contradictions. However, he found that he couldn't completely forget the good times he had with Lin Yue. Soon, Lin Yue's father recovered, and she decided to return to Northern Europe to start her life anew. She continued to run her Chinese restaurant and gradually returned to a normal life. She occasionally thought of Andrew, but there was no longer the initial pain. In the end, both Lin Yue and Andrew learned to let go. They each continued their lives, but always kept those beautiful memories in their hearts. They knew that some relationships, even if they couldn't continue, would become an indispensable part of life. After learning that Andrew had a girlfriend and was getting married, Lin Yue sold her house in Northern Europe and decided to return to her home country for good and start a new life. She opened a small restaurant in a southern Chinese city, and her life gradually stabilized. She occasionally thought of her days in Northern Europe, but there was no longer the initial pain. One day, Lin Yue received an email from Andrew. In the email, Andrew wrote, "Lin Yue, my flight arrives tomorrow. Please meet me at the airport." Lin Yue looked at these simple two lines and didn't know what to choose. The wound had just healed. Should she go or not? Once again, Lin Yue stood at the crossroads.